I'm Connor, and this is a story. It's been 17 years since the last brand new Metroid title, and we need a new one stat. And what do when Nintendo doesn't want to deliver on this wish that I've had for my entire life, technically, for a brand new Metroid game, but they just won't deliver?
Make a new
You make a new Metroid!
And, in case you need a refresher on the plot of Metroid, Samus, an intergalactic bounty hunter hired by the Galactic Federation to the planet Zebes to destroy the space pirates' home base and the weaponization of the Metroid species. After taking care of the phase-on threat, Samus was hired to go to the Metroid homeworld, SR-388, to exterminate the species, but there was one she wasn't able to bring herself to murder: a lone infant Metroid. Samus took the infant Metroid to the Galactic Federation's research station to be experimented on, but shortly after the space pirates attacked, stealing the baby Metroid and leaving to their old base on Zebes. After landing on Zebes and destroying the leaders of the space pirates, she found the infant Metroid, now a giant beast. After a close encounter, Samus began to battle Mother Brain, but she was too weak. Barely able to stand, Samus nearly lost when the infant Metroid absorbed what it could of Mother Brain's power and gave the power to Samus as it perished at the hands of Mother Brain. Samus, enraged, eradicated Mother Brain, and the ensuing explosion destroyed the planet Samus' childhood home. Not long after, during an expedition to SR-388, Samus was infected by an entity known as X, causing her to crash her ship and permanently altering her appearance. Now in the Federation's debt, Samus checked on a distress signal with her new AI, Adam, named after Samus' commanding officer during her own time in the Federation. After finding out about the Federation's experiments with cloning Metroid and encountering with her own suit of armor, now reanimated as the SAS, she became resolved to destroy the space station on the planet below, SR-388. She dropped the space station on the planet, but in a fight with one of the cloned Metroids, she fused with one of the SAS, restoring some of her previous powers and her iconic colors, and finally destroying what was left of the Metroids. Probably, maybe, don't really count on that.
How do you do what you do, but you still get tired from talking?
Good question. Oh my god, my heart hurts.
While I like the 2.5D feel of Samus Returns, I'm not really feeling that for the rest of the franchise. Instead, I'd want it to be similar to Octopath Traveler, 2D sprites or animated drawings or something like that, in a 3D space with some really good lighting. Think like Ori and the Blind Forest levels of lighting, both cool like purpley effects and glowing HUDs, and an Octopath art style. Samus, now the perfect fusion of X, Metroid, Chozo, and human, she's now on the run from the Federation after blowing up the Federation space station, ruining their plans, and blowing up every X-parasite in the galaxy, now needs a place to hide as she attempts to patrol the galaxy. She hides away on planet Fission, a planet absolutely teeming with life, but over the past couple of months that Samus has been stowed away, there's been some weird instances of plants and animals acting strangely, with a weird, creepy purple glow. Samus, however, is more focused on surviving than figuring out what's up with this weird purple rose. Adam, now acting as both the ship's AI and her suit's AI, has cloaked them from the Federation scanners. But Samus keeps up with the galaxy's current events, though. Once the Federation is able to track down Samus, because of course they're able to, Samus tries to escape but is shot down, the explosion taking her upgrades, and has to hide away in a nearby cave while the Federation finds her camping place, and tries to hide in a nearby cave, similar to Super Metroid, while the Federation finds her camping space. Samus deliberately caves in the mouth with a missile, super or otherwise, it doesn't really matter. Adam chimes in her ear. This is our first quote-unquote new feature, scanning. Adam can scan basically everything, automatically of course, because doing that manually in 2D would be a pain in the ass, and can provide information much like AM2R, and some snide comments. In this game, Adam works as Samus' AI in both her suit and on her ship, and that pretty much gives him something to say pretty much all the time. This will not only give Adam some actual personality, but also fixes one of the biggest problems from Fusion. I'm imagining him as like a Jarvis or Alfred type, but a lot more rebellious in his nature since he's a leader, not naturally an AI. As Samus goes deeper into the cave, gaining the Morph Ball and maybe a beam upgrade or some more missiles or something, she sees a familiar shape in the distance, a large golden bird with glowing eyes. One of the Aeon statues. Adam chimes in. An Aeon statue, only accessible from someone with Chozo armor and the Morph Ball. Easy enough for you, I assume. Samus goes in and gets the scan pulse. Aeon abilities return, but not quite as holy crap she can do what? OP as in Samus Returns. It allows you to locate what rooms upgrades are in and some like breakable blocks, but not the exact location of the upgrade, and a lot of those breakable blocks are telegraphed anyway. The shield doesn't block all damage, and you can't fire a barrage of missiles or slow down time. You can, however, sacrifice all your Aeon to refill an energy tank. And a general note, the player gets to combine abilities in really interesting ways with physics! As an example, you can run with the speed boost, jump, swing with the grapple lasso, and turn yourself into a morphball midair to make a makeshift cannonball to destroy obstacles in your way, breaking into another part of the map. I say it's the map. The entire map is designed like a U-like ant made, with branching paths and secret passageways, and, of course, ways to cheat the system. Obviously, it wouldn't be an exact U, but it would be close enough that ending up on the surface at the end of the game would be unbelievable. Though I do have a couple areas that I'd like to see. Sunlight Cavern, a small section of the cave meant to show off the technical achievement the game was pulling off. It'd be absolutely stunning, with sunlight streaming in from holes in the cave, with vegetation overgrowing on the floors and caves. Thanks to my friend Shelby, here at least thank you. Frostnare, essentially a snow volcano. Not literally, of course, but still be designed like how a volcano is designed, just with snow, you know? Really hurts in that fusion suit, doesn't it? Don't swim, or you're gonna take loads of damage at once. I imagine there'd be a remix of Magmore Caverns in the background, with more like Christmassy or snowy elements. The sauna. A large area with lava at the bottom, with little pockets of water in certain areas. You can break the rocks surrounding the pockets of water in order to free the liquid and spill it onto the lava, and creating a rock-like substance to stand on so you can hop across and maneuver the area easily. Chozo Ruins, because of course there is. But these Chozo Ruins are built with a new black design that's unique to this game. The area is dark and musty, and implies something more sinister that has happened on this planet. At the peak of the game, this is where you get the Varia suit, allowing you free reign over Frostnare, the sauna, and whatever other areas this game might have. The Federation ship. The final area of the game, a Federation ship that landed on the planet in the search for Samus. I'll go more in depth with this one later, but I will say that you break into it with your... The counter from Samus Returns is back, but it's not nearly as tedious. You still gotta time it with enemy attacks, but it's not like how it's done back in Samus Returns. Here, it works more like the Shield Bash from Breath of the Wild. You hit a button to block the enemy attack and briefly knock the enemy off course. There's no like big flash or any kind of real hint. The enemy just attacks with actual proper telegraphing. If we look at all three of the interpretations of the ice attack, we have three different options. The normal ice beam, where the enemies just stick around in midair. The ice missile from Fusion, which replaces the super missile and the ice beam for story reasons. And there's the AM2R ice beam, where the enemies get hit by the ice beam and fall to the ground, shattering. Wow, that's weirdly mortifying, Jesus Christ. Essentially what I want to do is make the classic ice beam its own entity, separate from the ice missiles. The ice missiles would act like the AM2R ice, where it hits the guy and they fall to the ground, while there'd just be a normal ice beam separate. As you're exploring this maze of underground tunnels, you reach an impasse. There's a camera that sees you and stops you in your tracks through an automatically closing gate. So what do? You activate camouflage. It allows you to temporarily blend into the background, sneaking past cameras, enemies, and hunters. More on that later. It functions until you fire your weapon, take damage, or run out of time. The 360-degree aiming is back, but it doesn't exactly lock you in place. You hold down the L trigger and aim with the right analog stick, and you can aim in any direction, but you're not locked in place. You can still move with the left analog stick, but it's a lot heavier than moving without aiming. Maybe it'll make boss design less gamey, you know? Speaking of which, the extraction team. These bad mofos are basically mini digger nods. Drills on their head, laser beams, and vacuums. There's 4 of them, and all of them have slightly different attack patterns, kinda like Pac-Man. One chases you down and deliberately aims for you, one protects the entrance so you can't leave, and one stays on the ceiling so they can always locate you. In canon reason, gameplay-wise, it doesn't really do much. And the final one jumps around the room like a madman. They'd have to be around or slightly bigger than Samus so the fight doesn't feel unfair with people cluttering the screen. Every time you defeat one, the others get just a little bit harder, so there's a bit of added challenge to the fight. The Hunter. Hired by the Federation, the Hunter acts as an SAX-like entity, just less personal. He hunts you down and chases you through the caves of Planet Fission. His species has the ability to throw around flames and cause explosions, allowing him to hunt you down and trap you in various boss fight locations. During your final encounter with him, you defeat him by dropping a whole load of wet cement on him and end up creating a The Hunter statue with an actual The Hunter underneath. Fun. The Worm. The Worm is just that. It's a giant worm. It's a fairly simple boss fight, much like Ceres, but not in water. It's intense, it's kind of frantic, and it's a hell of a brutal fight, but I figured I'd throw in one or two, like, classic Metroid fights.
Alright guys, here's my attempt at doing the worm.
Finally, there's revived and regenerated Ridley, courtesy of the Federation. Ridley would probably be a mixture of his Prime Series and Classic Series boss fights, flying in and out of the arena and trapping you in the Morphball and biting down and such. Take him down, but all that really does is free him from the Federation's control, allowing him to fly off into space to regroup with the space pirates. You fight him throughout several areas on the map, starting on a bridge near the top and then into Frostnare and finally finishing in the beautiful Sunlight Caverns, where Ridley hops in and out of the arena, destroying the place piece by piece. By the end, the entire cavern is turned into nothing but rubble, a symbol of the Federation's destructive capabilities. After this fight, Samus decides she's had enough. She's decided it's time for the hole Ridley drug Samus through during the fight works as a perfect shortcut to the other side of the map. And after a little bit of navigating through this maze, Samus comes to the surface on a different part of the planet. Mostly barren, with the exception of a giant radar tower staining the surface of this once beautiful planet, sapping its energy and infecting the plant life. Slowly, over the course of the game, the planet has become more and more dead, being infected with totally not Phazon! As you scale the tower, you fight off more and more Federation soldiers, taking them down as they get much, much harder as you scale. You reach the top, with a save station just before the final boss room. The final boss is the machine causing this infection, an Aurora unit, acting as the supercomputer to the whole station. You fight it in homage to Mother Brain, the true corruption of the Federation finally beginning to shine through, and destroy it, setting off one more self-destruct sequence because Metroid. Once Samus is out of there and the countdown reaches 0, the station blows up, leaving a crater in the middle of the planet and destroying a good amount of the ground underneath. Fanservice roll credits?
So, that's how I make Metroid 5. Building off the ending of Fusion and all those powers and abilities that Samus has collected over the years. One running theme that I've noticed in Metroid is how the stakes just slowly get higher and higher and higher. Ignoring the Prime series for a second, in Metroid 1, we had a very small, simple mission. Destroy the Space Pirates base. In Metroid 2, it's the extermination of a threat that could wipe out the galaxy. In Super Metroid, it's taking down those space pirates for good and making sure they stay out of the way. You blow up your home planet while you do it, but hey, whatever. And in Fusion, we have a galaxy-wide corrupt federation that has been cloning Metroids for what could be months. And once we take care of that cloning problem, we stop a universe-wide plague from spreading. The tension that you slowly build throughout these games is fascinating. And honestly, it's one of the things I love about it. And I hope I achieved that here.
Wow. That was really mature for you.
Yeah, don't think about it too much. Metroid is one of my favorite video game series in general. I just wanted to do it some justice. We should probably end this on a joke, though.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Hell yeah, I am! Dance Party!